I helped my brother leave his bride at the altar because she invited our mother. We are 34, 32, and 28. My former sister-in-law, let's call her Laura, is 30. Not in the US. I have 2 older brothers. This is about the middle one. Our parents divorced when I was very young due to our mother's insane jealousy. At first, my dad tried to handle it, but when she started making disturbing comments about me trying to replace his wife, he had enough. She quickly moved on with a man who had 2 kids, and they shared custody for a while. But when my dad got remarried, she went off the rails, calling his new wife every horrible name and insisting he had been cheating on her all along. I was always closer to my brothers and dad than my mom because she was always cold and mean to me. Long story short, my stepmom died in a terrible accident, and my dad called my mom in the middle of the night to tell her that he would pick us up early so we could attend the funeral. Instead, she took us on a fun trip to celebrate something. It was the happiest we had ever seen her. When we realized what happened and started crying, she told us that only worthless people cry for nobodies. That was the final straw. My dad immediately fought for full custody and limited her visitation rights. He always left communication open and even paid for us to visit her when she moved, but it was never good. As soon as we turned 18, we cut contact more and more. The last time we saw her was at my high school graduation, where she made sure everyone knew we were ungrateful children, and her new husband also threw insults at us. We've been no contact ever since. My brother Alex started dating Laura 3 years ago. She knew all about our mom and why we were no contact. But she thought we were just being dramatic. This caused a lot of tension in their relationship, but over time, it seemed like she had dropped the idea of forcing a reconciliation. Then came the wedding day. Everything seemed normal. We arrived at the church, and who was sitting front and center? Our mother, her husband, and her stepkids. I panicked and called my brothers. Alex assumed she had found out and crashed the wedding, so he called Laura to warn her about the drama. Laura calmly responded that it was fine because she had invited them. Alex hung up the phone, turned to me, and said, "Get me out of here." While our older brother Liam stayed back to handle the situation at the church, Alex and I left. We went home and locked the doors. Laura, her family, and dozens of people came by, begging him to change his mind. Even Mom's husband called, yelling that he had always known we were worthless. Now that the dust has settled, most of Alex's friends and family support him. However, Laura's parents are furious. They threaten to sue if Alex doesn't pay them back for their contributions to the wedding. But Alex says he would rather go into debt repaying them than marry someone who betrayed him. Our immediate family 100% supports Alex, but the backlash has been intense. Some of you asked, did Laura apologize? No. Not only did she not apologize, but she texted Liam saying that inviting our mother was supposed to be a wedding present for Alex because she values family. Laura and Alex had received a house from my dad as a wedding gift. But only Alex's name was on the deed. Laura had keys, but those were changed immediately. Right now, Liam and some cousins are helping Alex move his stuff out of Laura's apartment. We aren't worried about lawsuits, but we'll consult a lawyer just in case. As for Mom and her family, they are still lurking around town. But since we're staying at our childhood home for a few days, we don't care. My dad is heartbroken for Alex but is doing his best to cheer him up with help from my boyfriend and sister-in-law. I had to deactivate my social media because of all the nasty comments, but the more people learn the real reason Alex left, the more the backlash dies down. I still feel bad that Laura was humiliated. But I will always put my brother first. And if I had to do it all over again, I would. Liam told me what happened at the church after we left. He stood in front of everyone and announced that Alex was not coming. He asked the guests to leave and said all gifts would be returned. Laura was still outside the church when someone from her family told her. She immediately started crying and screaming, calling Alex non-stop. Mom tried to talk to Liam, but he ignored her. So, she cried loudly about how horrible we are, and some people consoled her. This is her usual tactic. When Liam and his wife left the church, Laura was waiting for them. She demanded to see Alex. Liam told her, no. She demanded to know what to do with the reception. Liam told her to donate the food to the venue staff so it wouldn't go to waste. Laura and her family started screaming. But Liam refused to react. Instead, he and his wife went grocery shopping, grabbed some fast food, and came home. We spent the night barricaded at home, like we were kids again, just with more people. Eventually, we found out Laura didn't use the venue. So my sister-in-law called the venue, had them donate the food, and even sent a tip for the workers. The venue also returned all the alcohol my dad had paid for. So, we are ending this year very drunk. A few people asked why our dad ever married our mother. The answer? He truly loved her. He thought she was kind and wonderful. Turns out, she wasn't. But she knew that no one, except maybe her equally awful husband, would ever marry her unless she pretended to be nice. At one point, Dad even considered staying with her until we were adults. But she kept getting worse. Sometimes, she would act nice and seem like she was changing. Then she'd flip back into being awful. As for my ex-SA Laura, we are sure she genuinely believes our mom is just a sweet woman with ungrateful children. Because our mother can be very charming when she wants to be. And some people enjoy watching cruelty, as long as they aren't the target. But it still doesn't excuse Laura. The only person Alex explained things to was his boss, who had been at the church. Luckily, his boss was very understanding. He was also shocked when he found out everything our mother put us through since, despite it all, we are happy, well-adjusted people. Dad told us it was a horrible shock, but that we can stay home as long as we need. For now, Alex is moving back in. I showed my family this post, and they were overwhelmed by your kindness. Alex wants you all to know that Laura wasn't acting weird before the wedding. He truly believed she understood his past and boundaries. Now, he has agreed to talk to her and her parents, but only at our house, with all of us there to support him. So, that should be an interesting meeting. Update, my runaway brother. First, a little more context. Alex lost some money, but it's not going to financially ruin him. Laura's parents paid for her dress, a fancy cake, and part of the honeymoon. She was never our family's favorite, but we genuinely thought she loved Alex. We have zero contact with our mother's family. Liam used to talk to our grandma, but he cut her off after she tried to bring our mother to his wedding. Mom's stepkids are both men in their 30s. Our dad has a long-term girlfriend, Rita, and we love her. She has been supportive through all of this. I was surprised Alex agreed to meet with Laura, but it turns out. She had sent photos and videos of all his stuff thrown on the floor to his best friend, Daniel. She told Daniel that if Alex didn't talk to her, she would destroy everything. Daniel came to visit, showed Alex the messages, and they told Laura that they needed access to the apartment. Liam, Daniel, my boyfriend, and a couple of cousins went with Alex. They grabbed his electronics, clothes, and important paperwork. Alex said he didn't care about the rest. He even joked that they were the fastest moving crew he had ever seen. Laura arrived with her parents and sisters. She tried to talk to Alex alone, but he refused. So, she just started talking. Not once did she apologize. Instead, she said it wasn't her fault that we don't understand real family values, and that we were raised to hate mothers. She claimed her only intention was for Alex to learn how to appreciate mothers, because she was afraid he would take their future children away from her. Alex stayed silent. Until she called our family a cult and said our dad was a terrible father. That was it. Alex snapped. He told her she was a hateful liar and that he was disgusted he ever touched even her hand. He said he was grateful I have a habit of being chronically early to everything. Because if I had arrived just on time, he might have actually gone through with the wedding. Then he told her staying in a marriage with a cheating husband, like her mother did, is nothing to be proud of. He listed all the little things he had overlooked because he had truly loved her. Or at least who he thought she was. And finally, he said he would never forgive her for betraying him and hurting his family. But he also didn't hate her. Because hating her would require him to waste energy thinking about her. And she doesn't deserve that. Her parents said nothing. Her sisters were red-faced and embarrassed. They tried to defend her and their family's values but expected us to argue back. We didn't. Then Alex turned to Laura's dad and said, "If you sue me for the wedding costs, I will expose everything about your family to the world. I don't think you want that." Laura's father was dumb enough to argue back. He said Alex should try to make amends and still marry Laura. Because they aren't getting any younger, and all families fight. I have never rolled my eyes harder. After that, the rest of the meeting was all logistics. How to return wedding gifts, stopping her family from harassing Alex, canceling the honeymoon, and changing all the locks. Laura just kept crying and trying to talk to Alex. But he was in business mode. She only got a direct response once. When she declared she was keeping the engagement ring. No one even asked for it back. Then they finally left. Later that evening, when the alcohol was delivered, my mom and her husband snuck through the gate. As soon as we opened the door, she smiled and said she just wanted to talk to her baby. Dad immediately told her to leave. She started screaming about how he raised us wrong and that we were an embarrassment. She insisted we should start making amends with her because we clearly lacked maternal love. She got that part right. At that point, Liam came outside and told her. The only news I ever want to hear about you is your funeral, so I can celebrate. She immediately started screaming and crying. Her husband threatened to hit Liam. So Dad and Liam just turned around, walked inside, and locked the gate. They stayed outside for a while, screaming. Eventually, they left. Some people don't understand why we react the way we do toward our mother. But everything I've written about her is only the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more. Even our dad, who always tries to keep the peace, admitted that Liam's words were justified. Maybe some people think we're bad for cutting her off completely. But at this point, we don't care. We never want to see this woman again. We've all been in therapy for years, but now we're doing some family sessions on top of our individual ones. Alex doesn't even want the house anymore. Our dad is encouraging him to take time before making a decision. The first priority is healing. For now, we're just spending time together, watching horror movie marathons, Disney classics, and reliving childhood memories. We even made a drama bingo game with everything that could possibly happen next. Because apparently, we really are dramatic after all. We love each other, and we were raised to treat people well. But if you push us, we can be very, very petty. Honestly? A little. No one deserves to be left at the altar. But would I do it again? Absolutely. Because my brother comes first. I asked Liam what happened after we left the church. He said he stood in front of everyone and announced. Alex isn't coming. The wedding is off. Please go home. Any gifts will be returned. Laura was still outside the church when someone from her family told her. She immediately started crying and screaming, calling Alex non-stop. My mother tried to talk to Liam, but he wouldn't even look at her. When she realized she wasn't getting a reaction, she went into full victim mode. Crying loudly about how horrible we were and getting sympathy from random people. Classic move. When Liam and his wife left the church, Laura was waiting for them. She demanded to see Alex. Liam, no. Laura, what do I do about the reception? Liam, donate the food to the venue staff so it doesn't go to waste. Laura and her family, screaming ensues. Liam just walked away. Then he and his wife grabbed groceries, picked up fast food, and came home. We spent the next few days together, barricaded inside like kids again, just with extra people. At one point, we found out that Laura had officially cancelled the reception. So my sister-in-law called the venue, told them to donate all the food, and even sent a tip to the workers. Also, my dad got back all the alcohol he had paid for. So, yeah. We're ending the year very drunk. A lot of people have asked. Why did our dad ever marry our mother? The answer. He really loved her. She wasn't always like this. She knew how to pretend to be a kind, sweet person. She tricked everyone. But over time, her true personality came out. And by then, it was too late. He considered staying with her until we were adults. But she kept getting worse. Every time he thought she was changing, she would flip back. So he finally left. You would think that after all this, she would just give up. Nope. She had one last trick up her sleeve. A couple of weeks later, she emailed Anna, Liam's wife, threatening to sue her for defamation over the wedding email blast. We aren't worried about it. Anna's parents are amazing people. They fully support her and even said they were proud of how she handled everything. Liam was furious, but Anna convinced him to just let it go and move on. Mom's husband is still being his usual awful self. Dad is considering a restraining order, but in our country, those aren't very effective. We decided to celebrate moving forward. Had a huge party at home, karaoke, dancing, games, good food, bouncy castles, and, of course, drinks. Nobody talked about the wedding drama unless they brought it up tactfully. Dad had already given away a bunch of alcohol to his employees. Each worker got to pick a bottle. He also added bottles into his Christmas baskets for them. We are going to spend the holidays together and travel next year. I joked about eloping to avoid wedding drama, and Liam immediately said, "No. You're getting the biggest wedding party ever." No debate. So, yeah. He's still the best. Some of you called it, Laura pulled the pregnancy card. She posted online that she was pregnant with Alex's baby. People started freaking out and calling Alex, asking if it was true. Alex called Laura and asked her to delete the post. She refused. So he told her, "Then meet me in person and talk about it." She deleted the post, met up with him. And somehow, this crazy woman thought he was going to take her back. I went with Alex. Laura was all smiles until she saw me walk in. Then, she started crying, holding her stomach. "Alex, are you actually pregnant?" Laura, "Yes. And I don't want our baby to grow up in a broken family." Alex, "Great. Let's go to a doctor and confirm it." Laura, more crying. Long story short. She wasn't pregnant. But after leaving the meeting, she posted online that Alex was forcing her to have an abortion. As you can imagine, this caused absolute chaos. People started calling Alex, demanding to know what was happening. Then Anna found out. I have never seen Anna that angry. She called Laura. I have no idea what she said, but after that, Laura deleted everything. Then, Anna sent out a mass email to everyone on the wedding guest list, explaining. Laura was never pregnant. Laura lied. Then Laura had a full breakdown. She started leaving voicemails for Alex, saying, "If I can't have you, I don't want to live." Alex simply called the police and reported it. Her family forced her into therapy. She's currently under observation. We take no joy in this. But we are also done getting involved. We are also changing our phone numbers, already requested. Our mother's last-ditch effort. Just when we thought she couldn't sink any lower, my mother pulled her favorite stunt. She suddenly announced that she had cancer. She reached out to Liam and Anna through their work emails, begging them to let her meet the baby because she was so sick. She also claimed she might need a transplant and wanted us to step up as her children. Here's the problem. This is about the 5th time she has claimed to have cancer. And the number of times she's actually had cancer? 0. She just loves attention, drama, and playing the suffering victim. Of course, we didn't believe her. But what we didn't expect was that she would embarrass herself so badly. She messaged Anna's mom on Facebook and told her about her tragic illness, in an attempt to manipulate her. Big mistake. Anna's mom is a lovely, sweet, good Catholic woman, so my mother must have assumed she would be easy to manipulate. Instead, Anna's mom started asking medical questions about the diagnosis and treatment. Our mother's story fell apart immediately. She panicked, blocked Anna's mom, and disappeared. Then Anna's mom posted the entire conversation on Facebook with a caption that basically said, "If you're going to lie, at least make it believable." It was hilarious. It was like high school drama, except with grown adults. Even better. A lot of extended family members saw the post and finally realized how full of it my mother is. We never heard about the cancer again. Alex is now Sam for this version of the story, just making sure you're keeping up. Smiling face with smiling eyes. Sam is doing well. He quit his job and started his own business. He rents out the house he was supposed to live in with Laura. And the best part? He met someone new. His new girlfriend is kind, mature, and completely different from Laura. She knows everything that happened, and she is fully supportive of his boundaries. She also makes amazing cakes and knits, which we love. We are both cautious and hopeful. They're taking things slow, but Sam is so much happier now. Also, he and my dad have been painting rooms together. I wish I could say the results were beautiful. But the truth? It looks like a kindergarten art project gone horribly wrong. But they're having fun, so we let them be. Dad caught COVID for the first time, and it scared him so much that he decided to update his will. That's where Liam's profession comes in, he's a lawyer. When everything was finalized, Dad divided everything into 4 shares, one for each of us kids, and one for any future grandkids. However, he made one big decision. He decided that the family house should not be split. Instead, it's going to be put in my name. At first, I was confused. But Dad and Liam had already discussed it and decided that it was the best choice. Sam agreed immediately and said he was happy with it. I suspect part of the reason is that I'm the youngest, but honestly, I'm okay with that. Liam also bought a house nearby, so even though we don't live on the same street, we're still close to each other. Sam doesn't want to live at the family home but is always welcome. For now, I've moved in with my fiancé, Matt. The house is ours now, and we're slowly remodeling it to make it feel like home. First order of business? Covering up Dad and Sam's terrible murals. We are still engaged, still happy, still enjoying babysitting my niece, and still not pregnant. But we did get a cat. Then another. So now we have 2 cats. Sam officially moved in with his girlfriend. Our dad is basically living with Rita, and they are loving their semi-retirement together. They recently went on a couple of trips and are full-on grandparents now. They actually count the 2 cats as grandbabies alongside my niece, which is adorable. Dad was originally not a cat person, but now he takes so many pictures of them. He even prints out photos of them for his albums. Sometimes, when he gives baby updates to his friends, he accidentally mixes in the cat updates, and people get confused. It's hilarious. Yep. Matt and I finally had our wedding in December. Dad walked me down the aisle. Liam was Matt's best man. Sam was my best man. He insisted on being called Julio the entire time. Everything was perfect. No one ran away. No one cried out of sadness. No one tried to ruin the ceremony. We had an amazing time. Mother tried to find out where it was, but we were one step ahead of her. Some of her relatives criticized us for inviting Rita instead of our real mother. But honestly, I don't care. We had a beautiful wedding. And I wouldn't change a thing. Sam got slightly fewer Julia Roberts gifts this year, but he still wears his runaway groom t-shirts proudly. But here's the big twist. Sam's girlfriend came to us with a plan. She wants to propose to Sam. And honestly, we love the idea. We don't know when she'll do it, but if she does, maybe this time, he'll actually make it to the altar. Final. Hello, Reddit. As is tradition, we now have 2 cats. Sam moved in with his girlfriend, and we just love that he's happy again. Dad is semi-moved in with Rita. It's been bittersweet, but overall, we remain positive and supportive of each other. Final thoughts. We know how lucky we are to have each other. This year has been a roller coaster, but at the end of the day, we are healing, happy, and moving forward. We have new phone numbers, new social media, and a fresh start. The negative is in the past. And no matter what happens, we have each other. And honestly, that's all we need. Thank you for watching the video, like it if you watched the video to the end and don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice day.